Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to season 2 of Roleplay Blades. Believe it or not, season 1 was good enough that someone higher than all of us up there sitting around a table, at least 15, maybe 18, who said, apparently unanimously, yes, continue the saga of these fine young assassins. And so here we are. Wow, we did it. Amazing. What's up, guys?
Excited. It's so early.
I've
Do it,
been up,
Marcus.
been
The
up
whole
pretty
song.
early. So which one? Which one?
That's a song, man. You guys don't know. It's what's her name?
Now you gotta do it, Jeff.
What's her
Shania
name?
Twain. It's Shania Twain, I think.
Oh, I don't know too much.
That one.
Shania Twain, actually.
What song were you singing?
Chat will know. Every time I say something to another broadcaster, they don't know it. I'm always like, chat will know.
They will. Inevitably,
You don't know.
they will.
They'll know. They'll save me from this.
Yeah, they
Well,
will.
I know it hasn't been too long since we've seen each other because we did a show on Tuesday to kind of wrap things up. So it's like the shortest amount of time that anyone has ever had to wait ever for any sort of season 2 to continue the story. But I suppose like some things could have happened over the last week. So we'll check in with everyone to see how things have been. And starting with you, how's it been the last 5 days?
Good. Just streaming regular stuff. Tried playing Battlegrounds. Can't get into it. I tried it again. Still can't get into it. So I'm just back to my old ways of Siege. Excited to play Andromeda tomorrow. I didn't play the 10-hour trial thing or whatever they had, but I'm excited to play it nonetheless.
Awesome. Battlegrounds, like the new
Yeah, the player all
unknown?
caps,
Yeah.
player
Yeah.
unknowns Battlegrounds. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't.
Yeah,
You didn't say all caps, so I was a little. Wasn't
It could have been a different Battleground.
So
I didn't say the name first. Yeah.
You tried to get into it.
I played like over 200 hours of H1Z1, so I thought I was going to be like a fan of the new, because it's pretty much the same. It's the similar concept or whatever. So I tried playing it with JP, and JP and I, like, our friendship was built on a few hundred hours of H1Z1. So I thought that I was going to like it, and we played it, and it was just like, I don't know. There's just something about it that it doesn't click with me anymore, or I don't know what it is. So, and then I tried again, like yesterday, I tried to play a couple hours. I think I played like an hour and a half of it before I was like, the hit registration is terrible. Like, I hate spending 20 minutes like looking for a gun that is not a machete, and like, and then just getting killed by the first person who finds you. They just like instantly headshot you, and just like, I don't know. I can't get into that anymore. So, but I mean, it's cool
Sorry to hear
see
that.
trying to like improve on that.
You sound like me with every competitive game ever.
Well, I mean, I play a lot of Overwatch, and I play a lot of Siege, and Battlegrounds is just too slow for me. Like, the movement is so slow, and like trying to turn to face someone, I feel like I gotta like double my DPI on my mouse just to like actually look at people, and I don't know. I'm not into it, so I tried. But anyways.
The
There's
official
so much
review.
walking in Battlegrounds. I mean, just give me a game where you just squat behind a staircase and just look around a corner for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, just come on.
So you really need to get the blood pumping, Jeff?
I don't like walking. I want to just sit and wait
this
until
spot
someone
is
blows up
mine.
the window, and then I shoot them, and then I got to relocate because otherwise they'll know I'm there. That's my kind of game, you know?
I'm in. Zeke, how about you? How things been the last 5 days?
Oh, things have been good. I've been picked up Nier yesterday for the first time, and like I was saying before we came on camera, it's a lot better than I expected. I waited for the PC version because I paid a lot of money for a PC. I wanted to use it, so. And it's fantastic. It's really, really good. The music is top fucking notch. The action sequences are great. You can choose. I like that you can choose to play like in your own play style. People were giving me shit all of yesterday. We're like, "Are you doing a ranged build? They give you all these cool melee weapons. Are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing a ranged build because that means I don't get fucking touched. I just shoot. I got this little drone that shoots for me, and I can just avoid everything." Makes my life a fucking lot easier. So, but yeah, I like that. It's a lot more open world than I expected. I mean, it's not like super linear. Like quests pop up all over the place. And the world that it's set in is pretty great. So I mean, I recommend it. I mean, I don't know if it's worth $60 yet. I only played it for one day, but it's a full price fucking game. But it looks and sounds and feels fantastic. I just I've gotten like 8 hours into it, so I'm not willing to say it's worth 60 yet, but it's looking like it is.
Well, I mean, you're playing it wrong, apparently. According to the Twitch polls, the science and the data is in, and you're making a range build. So the jury's still out, Zeke, but thanks for your opinion on that.
Hey, they hate us because they ain't us, right?
We appreciate it, you know. Mr. Jeff Robinson.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, man. Nothing much. Well, oh, you know what?
Your life's that boring. You can just nothing much.
No, I got something. I'm just pissed. Iron Fist is a god awful shitty show. I will watch all of it. I will watch all of it because that's what I'm gonna do.
No.
I heard it was terrible.
I just don't get. So like when I watch a show like this, what I immediately picture is like the nice executive screening room with like all the producers and the director and like all the, you know, the cast, and they're sitting there, and after episode 1 it like goes to black and they're like, I think people are gonna be fucking mind blown, dude. The whole episode was gold, and they're like high fiving and they're walking out like, yeah. The whole first 3 episodes are sequentially, and I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of it because I'm saving people at this point, so I don't even care. Like,
first spoilers, everybody, spoilers.
Literally,
doing you a favor.
They're so everyone is so shallow. The whole episode is, you're not a rich guy, he's dead because you don't have shoes on and you're dirty. Second episode, you're not a rich guy because you're crazy. Third episode, weird sexual confusion, but you need to take a shower and I'm not interested in you. Like, the entire show is built like it's like completely built around this premise of, if you don't look good, you can't be something great. The entire thing, like at every turn, he flips over a car with his hand on fire. Next scene with the woman, she's like, well, you need to shower because you smell like shit. Fuck off. If I flip over a car with my hand on fire, I'm not talking about my hygiene. It's like so preposterously shallow and bad, and oh my god. And my favorite part is every time I talk about this, there's someone's like, what? It's that character's the depth and the development that happens over the course of the season. And I'm like, oh, stop.
Do they rock back and forth like that?
They should. The seething rage, and like the whole premise is there's cool lore, by the way. Like he's the Iron Fist. He's supposed to battle the Hand, and he's this weapon. And he says the most random shit that even to him it's like a weird delivery. He'll say stuff like, well, I'm a living weapon. I'm the Iron Fist. I only actually feel good when I'm being hit more. And like the heat of battle is my favorite thing. And then like next scene will be him being like, yeah, but I mean, I really care about the Rand name, and I got to take this company back. And you're like, what? You came from heaven. You fight alternate dimensions. You're like this god warrior, but you're like, well, Jesus. I mean, but the company, I gotta get it back on track. It's not about the money, and it's like so stupidly confusing. It's not confusing, excuse me, but just like emotionally illiterate. Like it just doesn't make. Nobody has those kind of motivations. They're not human, but they're meant to be human. So I'm watching this, and I actually wonder if it was like, it's going to come out that it was directed, produced, and executed by like a pack of Labradors. They're going to be like, yeah, we have these golden fucking retrievers that we've been breeding for a while now. We're like wondering, imagine we didn't have to spend money hiring humans, and we had golden retrievers do this shit. And this is what
that that old like Tale of Infinite. Like infinity, it's like if you give 100 monkeys infinite amount of years, one of them is eventually going to type Hamlet. Well, typewriters, like you put typewriters in front of them.
So they're doing that with golden retrievers.
They're doing it now, man.
They're doing it with golden retrievers.
Well, that's disappointing to hear. I hadn't started watching it, but now I'm excited.
they were kind of bound to eventually have a stinker, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel's had a pretty great track record for the last few years and
Mhm.
films, and I don't know.
I had my problems with the other shows, but I enjoyed them, and I thought they were really good.
Yeah.
And there's really good redeeming qualities. But and again, everyone's like, just wait till the end. I'm like, okay, I'm sure it gets better. But my point is, it would have to get better because we're at ground zero right. We're at the bottom right now.
Right.
It could not get worse. The only thing that would be worse is a dance scene that doesn't make sense or something.
A musical number
Oh, that's in there. Don't
involving
worry.
the
You'll
whole.
get it. You'll get it. What does it
Yeah.
have on like Rotten Tomatoes?
The critics have been really mean to it. I assume it's low, but I haven't looked.
That sucks.
Because I noticed last night browsing. Oh, it's at 17%. See that? I noticed last night browsing Netflix that it was 5 stars.
Yeah. That shit doesn't mean anything though. I've learned. I've watched a bunch of movies where I'm like, I've never heard of that, but it's got 5
Yeah.
stars.
Wait, are you?
Yeah.
Jeff, are you insinuating that they would give it 5 stars and without like not based off of users' feedback and to represent?
Marcus, it's almost like
People
those
would do
are
that,
stars
Jeff?
without numbers.
People would. There are people out there that would do. Yeah. Anyway, 17%. That's great.
And right as I say it, by the way, in the chat, like clockwork, and I think this is the same guy. He's just everywhere. He says you need to watch more of the season. It gets really great. Thank you.
There's one. He's the one person. It's like Ken M. Only of movie proponents. He's everywhere.
He has 35 Twitter accounts. He's on my Instagram. He's here in the chat. He's just like waiting.
Mhm.
He's got like a Cobra punch strike of like, watch more of it. And at the end,
He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't watch the rest of the Blades. He's just here for the first 30 minutes when we talk about media.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case Iron Fist comes up. Well, and that's what we should be saying. Cobra Strike. We should be saying, "Wow, the characters suck, and the script is bad." But man, awesome kung fu fights, right? But no one's saying it. It's like it doesn't have the one thing that it should have. Ugh, man.
Well, it doesn't get better. Okay. Well,
that was, and I'm sure it gets explained or something. But there's a part where he finds a guy destroying his like personal files. And it's supposed to be this like security dude. Like it's not built up at all that he's anyone special. It's literally just a random goon. And he actually has like a drawn out fight with him the whole time. And I'm like, all right, so look, what this scene does for me without any justification, without any explanation, is later when he's battling some ethereal god form in another dimension and they're having this epic battle of flaming hands and they're punching through walls and shit. I'm going to think that's the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen in my life. He fought fucking John Bob over here in the basement of a fucking hospital who had brass knuckles, and it was a duel. It was a battle. Like you can't. I'm not. And there's no training sequence. He's already the Iron Fist, by the way. So there's no like he must enhance his chi, and then then no, he already is. But that guy was tough. Like his defense would be like, well, I mean, he was a big dude. He was pretty strong. It was tough. Brass knuckles and all.
That sucks.
I can't
You'd
wait to
expect
watch
more.
it, Jeff. I mean, you've like really got me excited to just dive into this Netflix 5-star adventure. So, great. I can't wait to hear more on Fanboys. So, Mr. John Harper, hello.
Sir, hello.
How are you?
I'm well. It's good to be back.
Are you still smelling your books off the press, or
Almost. Anything
That's
now.
a weird visual, John. Perfect.
I worked for 4 years on this. No, I know. You already told us. You're like, no, we've sold all those. Like now it's the new book.
We moved on.
Well, speaking of that, and this pertains to that, can you put a link in the chat to where we can buy the actual physical copy of the book?
Not exactly.
Okay.
The pre-orders are closed right now. Printing is happening right now, and then the books will be for sale through Evil Hat's web store in a few weeks. So
okay, cool.
Like about a month actually. So
because I don't know about you guys,
horses
but I love the tactile of having like an actual book.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. I've seen it all like not bound, but I haven't held the finished version yet. But yes, Evil Hat is the name of the company. EvilHat.com. You can find the Blade site there and get a book if you want to.
Awesome.
I was going to mention a piece of media that I saw that didn't suck, fortunately.
Please do.
It's been on Netflix forever, and it's been in my queue forever, and I finally watched it. A documentary. It's called The Imposter. And if you...
I got to write this down.
If you liked Making a Murderer and The Jinx and those kind of crime documentaries that have become popular, this is a little bit older. It's just a single film, like hour and a half, 2 hours. Not a series, but it's done in the same style, basically, as Making a Murderer. Super interesting case, very engaging crime documentary, if you like that kind of thing. So,
interesting.
Highly recommend it. I don't want to say too much about what it is, really, because it's fun to kind of discover the
awesome
twists and turns of that. But yeah, it's very good, very, very cool.
Watch that today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Great.
What about you, Marcus? You got going on.
Yeah, this morning we kicked off sort of the 10-year celebration of the show Epileptic Gaming going video. So this morning I got to hop on the stream. It was weird because usually my Sundays are like if sleeping in, which means like sleep till 8. But this morning I like woke up at 7 and I had to be on by 9. And I couldn't go to sleep. So anyway, got on. It was really great. A lot of the old faces from 10 years ago came back and joined us for a little kickoff show this morning. And right now, actually, the marathon has kicked off, and it's already just hilarious. There was at one point showed a YouTube video, and seeing the fucking YouTube interface from 2006 is crazy. So hopefully over the course of the next day or so, maybe you'll stop by and check it out. Gassy already stopped by and said, holy shit, this sounds better than most Twitch streamers sound today. So Twitch streamers, fix your audio. It's important. It is important.
Yeah.
It's always been important. But yeah, it was actually super emotional this morning. As you guys can imagine, when you worked on a project for like almost 15 years of your life, it like kind of becomes a part of you. And then I think the more crazy aspect of that is that everything that we do as streamers or, entertainers and content creators, like it affects other people. And so when they carry their own memories about the content they watch and the associations they made with it, and, every streamer sort of like had those messages before where it's like, your content helped me got through bad times, or, when I watched this, it actually helped me socially because you were dealing with similar issue. Like there's all sorts of different ways that content connects with different people. And it was very is like a very awesome weight to feel that as we were kicking things off, to be like, holy shit, like the show affected all these people sort of in the same way it did me. So anyway, I'll stop rambling now. I fucking, it's just making me sound old and but I think everyone will have this day, and I'm excited because it was like amazing, and I look forward to sharing this old ass content with everyone. So
nice.
There you go.
Well, congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Thank you also, which should be noted, that Marcus went out of his way to be here today. So thanks for making it work.
It's all good.
Really
and with that being said, why don't we jump into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's play some Blades in the Dark.
So ready. Stab things.
Do it.
We're starting season 2, so it's a little time is going to pass. I'm going to reintroduce the last word in case we have some new viewers today that are coming in. Hopefully some European people are able to watch our show now. So the show Blades in the Dark, it's a crime game about a sort of fantasy city, urban fantasy it's haunted with demons and ghosts and stuff. These guys are a crew of assassins called the Last Word, who spent season 1 getting all entangled. Well, first they got recruited by Jeff's character, Mr. Careless Firm. And we've spent season 1 getting entangled in this sort of conspiracy and discovering that all of the characters that Mr. Firm had recruited are somehow kind of connected to this conspiracy. He did not choose them at random. They actually were like carefully selected to be part of this crew and to go after the people that they're going after. And our cliffhanger for season 1 was the reveal by Jeff that Careless Firm used to be a demon. His character is a Taikarosi, which are people from far away who are said to have demonic blood, but Mr. Firm was in fact a full-fledged demon at some point, or he claims to be anyway. And his demonhood was taken away from him by the demon Satara, and he's come back to Duskwall to try to do something about that. And we left on the cliffhanger of their friend Salia, who is a sort of secrets broker and underworld expert. She and Marcus's character, Miss Cataby, compared notes on their It's Always Sunny conspiracy wall with all of their photos and red string and stuff, and figured out who's behind what's going on, who the real enemies are in the situation. And today, starting with season 2, we're going to jump ahead in time a little bit. I will summarize or share what Salia learned about this conspiracy, and then we'll choose a new target for the last word to assassinate and get back to some good old-fashioned assassination work. That's the general plan. Anyway.
John,
yes, sir.
I wonder if I might make a suggestion, not only because I think it might be good, but also because I think it would help maybe anyone who might be coming in new. Could we maybe have everyone just briefly talk about their character and maybe how they have changed or over the course of the last season? Because I think that there's definitely been some shifts.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So hello, I'm djWHEAT. Van Academy is my character, and she is a very tall and attractive gambler who thrives on information because she is a spider. And she started this adventure out being recruited by Careless Firm, and was in an enormous amount of debt. And how she started out was basically given the opportunity to wipe that debt free, which is something that she had never had. And so that was very interesting to her. And I think in doing so, this independent sort of criminal had to learn how to work with the team, and it wasn't the greatest. I got caught stealing from the team. Thankfully, they took it well. They might kill me if it happens again. But I think one of the most sort of devastating things that happened over the course of the last season is that Cataby, I think, went off by herself at a time where she shouldn't have, and it was probably the most heat that she personally had ever been in, whether individually or as as a team. And prior to that, it was all about it was all about making sure that they kept you alive because they want you to pay your debt. And suddenly things had changed, and she got fucked up real bad. And she got fucked up bad enough that she took a trauma. And that trauma is that she now is vicious. And there's suddenly a fear that is, I guess, exercised by being vicious, in that she doesn't ever want that to happen again. And so the biggest change for Cataby is not only the whole accepting working as a team, but also just not ever getting herself in a situation like that again and doing what needs to be done. So it's like adding a new criminal element to what she has. So I'm kind of excited to take that into season 2.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And it's also reflected a little bit in your choice of actions. I think you've beefed up your ability to fight with guns significantly.
I have quite a bit, actually. So that will be, I now have 3 in hunt. So yeah.
Nice.
Become vicious in character and in performance also.
A little bit. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what new Cataby does.
Yeah, me too. Anne, you want to tell us about Rune?
Sure. So the character that I play is called Rune. My playbook is Whisper, which is basically I can consort with ghosts and I have an ability that allows me to compel them and give them instructions, basically, if I successfully attune to their spirit. So I guess I was recruited because I have basically a vendetta with the airport that I live next to that's super loud, and also a man named Lord Skurlock, who is this like super difficult person to fight, so I can't go it alone. And Careless Firm approached me and gave me the opportunity to go after him, and so that's what we're doing. She is also addicted to drugs. Currently, I get that through tattoos. And let's see, what else do she has a ghost dog, kind of a demon that she summons, and his name is Myth. He's currently probably the MVP of the of the show with the most kills, I think. So I roll for him, and then I also play Aldo's sister, who has passed, named Belle. So I think the biggest changes for Rune, probably, I think I played her a lot more selfish and like laissez-faire at the beginning of the season, and I think now, the longer we've gone into it, she is more invested in being a part of something. I think before it was more, she was just used to doing stuff on her own, and now she likes the fact that there's like a group of people that she belongs to, and that we go out and do things together and attack problems together, rather than just being like one-on-one, like fighting as a unit is cool. So I'm excited to see there's the continuing plot lines with Belle. I have a lot of ideas for, and I'm excited to see things progress with going towards Skurlock. You know, he's like a tier 3 on his own or something, so he's gonna be really difficult to fight. So I know we've been kind of like building up to that, and I've been saving a lot of the kind of backstory to once we get closer to that. So I'm excited about getting close to that stuff.
Yeah, I am too. This is a game where it's hard to know when those things are going to come. It's not like he's level 20 and you guys are level 1 and we know it's like way far off, and we know it's in the future, but when we actually get there is up to you guys, really. Like how daring do you want to be about it? So I'm excited to see when you guys pull the trigger there and decide to make that move against a
TPK?
Legendary character. Yeah, right. Yeah. And you can all play ghosts and we'll have a different game. Zeke, you want to tell us about Aldo?
You bet. Okay, so Aldo is the character that I play. The playbook that I chose for Aldo is Cutter, and it says the description of Cutter is a dangerous and intimidating fighter, and intimidation is kind of a good description for Aldo. He's a huge brute, like just a brick shithouse of a guy. However, he grew up on the streets, but he doesn't want to be of the streets. He tried to better himself. He's very self-taught, intelligent, loves books, loves poetry, loves the finer things in life, and that used to be what his vice was, until he hooked up with this crew and discovered that the reason why he's in this crew in the first place is because Careless Firm was holding an item that Aldo wanted, which was his sister's diary, or the information leading to get to his sister's diary. Finally found that, and then found out we're unraveling what happened to his sister Belle. She is dead, as Rune said, or as Anne said before. We did a ritual. Aldo spoke to Rune, or spoke to Belle, and now his quest is to destroy and utterly obliterate anybody who had anything to do with her death and anything else nefarious that she was getting into, because she was the only family that he ever had. She taught him to read. She gave him glasses so that he actually could read, and that's why he has the glasses on him at all times. What else? He's in the first season, things started to get dark for him, and he started developing a taste for for violence and murder and stuff like that. And where it was always a job to him in the past, like an assassination is just a job, just a, a contract that needed fulfillment. Now he's starting to enjoy it more and more. And that's why his vice has changed from the finer things in life to inflicting violence upon people in the fighting pits and stuff like that. So in order to de-stress himself, he has to go to the fighting pits and break people. But his mission statement right now is to find out who the Hive is, which is the people who abducted and or did whatever to his sister. And he has some leads, and that's where we kind of left off. We're trying to get Salia's information to find out where we got to go next, and that's his number one goal right now.
Yeah, I think although season 1 to me, when I think about it, it's like we had the juxtaposition, the big tough dude, beefy guy, who was actually sort of scholarly and into the finer things, art and literature, poetry, which was a surprising juxtaposition. And then we've seen him kind of be ground down a little bit by this obsession with what happened to his sister, and that you've sort of lost a little bit of that cuddly charm, not all of it.
Yeah, there are still things that
Cuddly
Aldo
charm.
holds dear, like keeping his word, making sure that his debts are paid and stuff like that. That's still important.
Yeah.
But
and Aldo has fallen in love with Quellen, the crew's friend, Rune's special friend, possibly, but Aldo's special friend now. The healer for the group. She and Aldo have hooked up, and I think Quellen can still see that side of you that maybe Belle inspired in you when you were younger. But the rest of the world is seeing a much more vicious, much more cold and obsessed Aldo than before.
can she bring Aldo out of this cold, dark demeanor back to the former glory that he once was?
Who knows? Will his obsession overtake him?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention that. When John is mentioning obsession, I have a trauma, and the trauma is obsession. Like I'm obsessed with this mission.
Yep. And before we get to that mission and exactly who needs killing, Jeff, tell us about Mr. Careless Firm.
Yeah. Careless Firm is also he's of the book Cutter. So that's 2 cutters in the team, which it's more of like for him, it's more of a color of what he is and what he does. And he's like strangely talented and good at things, as the dice would dictate, but it's worked out pretty well so far. He's the leader of the group just because he kind of brought them together with what was a shrouded plan. But the end of last season, like John said, it was pretty much supposedly revealed that they're all people with special abilities and talents come together for a greater purpose of, as far as he's concerned, bringing down a demon that is otherwise fairly untouchable. In this, it was just like briefly touched on, but kind of a war in the demon world where there's different factions going at it, and he's brought them into this. His character is like throughout the season, it was kind of interesting because it was definitely introduced that he is like a senseless cold killer or whatever, and just interested in corrupting and stuff like that. But as the season has gone, there's some level of attachment that definitely has developed, but also a weird juxtaposition of coldness, because that was a trauma that he suffered, which I thought actually flavored him really, really well, in the sense that he's also supposed to be struggling with that. And then just as a character too, he just doesn't understand or relate to people very well at all. And that's kind of why he talks weird and is constantly at odds with everyone, not in like a contentious kind of way, but more in a like, I don't understand you at all kind of way. Which has been funny, but if people look deeper, is also very true to who he is, I guess. And that's it.
What did you talk about your side quest, your quest to figure out comedy with Careless Firm?
He's always on that quest. Yeah.
I've got free XP writing on it.
Lifelong journey.
Yeah, it's not going well so far. Yeah. So that's our cast. That's the last word. They just were at war with the Foghounds and the Dockers, some other gangs. Wiped the Foghounds out, who are some smugglers, except for the 2 Foghounds who are their friends. And the Dockers sent their big tough gang after them, and these guys trapped them in a house and burned it down around them. So they kind of took care of those guys too. So for season 2, I'm gonna go over the conspiracy map here for the beginning of the season. Kind of again for new viewers, we can kind of see the landscape of targets, how they're connected, and who you guys are going to be going after in the coming season. And then we're going to kind of jump ahead a little bit in time, about a week or so, something like that. You guys will have a chance to de-stress and to do some training. I think we've already kind of covered that in the background, but then we'll pick up with choosing a new victim and see who the last word wants to put on the hit list first. I'm going to switch us over here in Roll20 to the conspiracy map so I can show you what information Salia and Miss Cataby have pieced together.
And you released this on Twitter too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I could put the link in chat also. I think maybe somebody already did that. And it's JP's got it up on the screen for us now as well. Perfect. So so last time, Careless Firm admitted in the powwow session to the group that he was once a demon, and Miss Cataby's friend Salia was inspired to share her personal secret, since it was a circle of trust was happening in the room right then. She stood up out of her body and revealed that she was in fact a possessor ghost, not just a mere mortal woman, Salia. She's an ancient ghost, a type of ghost that this group has seen before. They're called the Reconciled. In this setting, ghosts are typically on the order of weeks and months. They become crazier and more vengeful and more obsessed with petty grievances from their life the longer that they are a ghost, until they finally just become these horrible, monstrous things. But the Reconciled, for whatever reason, have figured out a way that doesn't happen to them. They are ghosts who maintain their humanity and grow wise and more powerful. So Salia is one of them. And she's revealed this general shape of this conspiracy here. So along the top row, we see the sort of main players, the 5 main enemies in the conspiracy. The leaders of the Circle of Flame, the leader of the Reconciled, who even Salia doesn't know who that is, the Hive and Commander Oris, he's sort of the military commander of the Hive's mercenary forces. Lord Skurlock, the infamous occultist and vampire, and the demon Satara, Mr. Firm's ancient enemy who supposedly took away his demonhood at some point in the past. And then below, we see all the various people that are connected to those characters, kind of the people that are in the way when you're trying to go after those top-level targets. And the reason why these people are all connected is something that Salia and Miss Cataby were able to figure out. And I will give us a quick rundown so we can not spend too much time on this, but roughly speaking, about 1,000 years ago, a little more, before the Cataclysm, which destroyed the world, there was a great legendary hero, a sorcerer, and warrior named Koa-Atar, who modern people call Kotar. And Kotar had created a bunch of magic items. He was a wizard whose life's work had mainly been dedicated to controlling and destroying demons. He was a great legendary demon hunter and sorcerer. The legends say that a long time ago, demons and humans made a pact where the demons would serve the human wizards for 5,000 years, and then when that contract was served, it would be flipped around, and all of humanity would be subjugated by demonkind and would have to serve them in exchange for that power. Kotar saw the end of that coming, tried to do something about it, and apparently succeeded because, well, kind of succeeded. The Cataclysm happened, the world was mostly destroyed, but you guys live in a world now where humans are not subjugated by demons, so He must have done something right. But during the Cataclysm, most of the artifacts and items of power that Kotar had created or collected got scattered across the world and have been lost to history. There is a group, however, you see them on the map here on the far left column, the Circle of Flame. They're a secret society who one of their goals is to find all of these missing artifacts. They know that they're important. They know they have to do with demons. And they are very interested in that, as well as these other factors. The Reconciled are interested because theoretically, the items of Kotar could be used to control spirits or destroy spirits, which the Reconciled do not want. The Hive has nothing to do with the occult. They're infamously, Jeremiah, their leader, she does not want the Hive to ever deal with occult things or have anything to do with that stuff. But a group within the Hive, led by Commander Oris, have kind of broken the rule, and they're running a secret operation within the Hive of human trafficking and spirit experimentation that they've been working with the Reconciled. So sending them people to experiment on. You guys saw some of that when you were out at Lord Suker's estate in the Lost District. You saw some weird sort of back-to-tank looking things with bodies in them and strange ghost capturing devices and stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about. We saw nothing.
Yeah,
we saw nothing.
So they've been working together with the Reconciled to try to discover the location of these things. Lord Skurlock is known in the underworld as a collector of artifacts and obsessed with ancient occult sorceries. So he would, of course, want to be involved in this, and the other powers couldn't really keep him out. So Salia has explained that he's kind of stuck his nose in where it's not wanted. And then Satara is a little bit of an unknown. A Sataran cult has sprung up in the city. You don't know much about it, but I'll tell you a little bit more in a moment about that. But what Satara's true goal is and what she wants, Salia doesn't really know. Humans don't really understand demons very well. So they know she's involved. You know, her and Lord Skurlock are enemies, frenemies, sometimes allies, something like that. And the reason you guys are all connected to all this, just to cut to the chase, Aldo and Rune knew Belle, Aldo's sister, when she was a kid. She went off, as Anne described during the special episode. Belle wanted to live forever. That was one of her things that she wanted to try to do. She was interested in ancient stories and mythology and magic, and she left the city on a quest, on a journey to try to discover how to do that, and got involved with the Spirit Wardens and the Reconciled because the Reconciled basically have figured out a way to live forever. They can be ghosts that don't decay. So she got involved with them somehow, and during that experience, the Hive captured her, and she died. Her spirit was rescued by Flint, Spirit Warden, and kept safe, so it didn't go mad inside of Belle's diary. So Rune and Aldo have the diary. They're interested in it for personal reasons, but clearly Belle and the Reconciled and all of this stuff is connected to the situation. So Mr. Firm was able to recruit these guys to be part of it. Miss Cataby, we've discovered, has a very unusual ability among mortal humans. She can use items of Kotar, these ancient artifacts, actually work when she uses them. Normally, it requires crazy rituals or magical training and all kinds of intense risks to use these kind of things. But Miss Cataby is kind of effortlessly using, it's a ring, right, Marcus? You have a ring?
Yeah.
It just effortlessly using them, which is very strange. So she's a special part of this situation. And it all ties back to the original patron that you guys had from the very beginning, Lady Iramina Kinclaith, a noble woman who had a list of people who had done her family wrong that you were going after. And we see two of them on the list here in the lower left, Lord Suker and Lady Clave. They were part of the Circle of Flame. Essentially, her father, Iramina's father, Salia, knows this. She's told you this. Lady Iramina's father his Leviathan hunter ship, the Tempest, at sea, discovered the ancient seclusium sanctum of Kotar. It's been lost for 1,000 years. It found its secret location and somehow did something there out in the void sea that allowed them to start trying to track down these scattered artifacts. Some kind of locator spell or something like that, maybe. But he, realizing the great danger of these things, decided not to work with the other conspirators. He tried to destroy the maps. He tried to hide all the information. And the Circle of Flame, Lord Suker, Lady Clave, Lord Skurlock, the Hive, all these people have brought King Claith house, the noble house, to its knees and stolen its assets in an attempt to discover the location of the Kotar's seclusium and the various artifacts. And they've made some headway in that regard, but destroyed House King Claith in the process.
So Master Helker is the guy that we last were talking to, that Jeff was trying to decide whether or not to kill, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Aldo, or I didn't notice or catch the name and connect it with the fact that he works for the Hive.
Yeah, that was something that Salia has revealed. Like, it's not really known. He
Okay.
As far as anyone knew, he was the chief of the Dockers Gang and also the chief of the harbor, Duskwall Harbor.
Right.
But Salia has revealed to you that he's actually a Hive agent. He works for the Hive and has helped this human trafficking ring, smuggling people off to the Lost District to be experimented on and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's. I think if Aldo had known that when you were in the meeting with him, things would have.
Yeah.
But you learned that afterwards. You learned that.
Okay.
Yeah, he is directly connected to Bell's disappearance in some way, and presumably knows where Captain Velkin is, who is the one that Bell revealed actually stole her away and captured her, and ultimately resulted in her death.
So why is the one line like bold and red when all the other ones are black or gray? The one in the middle.
Yeah. So this is just a little sub bit of information. Miss Cataby and Salia know this because it's a gang thing. Maha, who's the leader of the Hive, she had a relationship with Rorik, who used to run the big street gang in the city, the Crows.
Mm.
And they were a couple. They were lovers. Lissa killed Rorik for control of the Crows, and she's the new leader. So Maha basically wants to murder Lissa for revenge. Lissa, meanwhile, the Crows had a extensive connection, a series of extortion rackets at the docks that Rorik and Master Helker had worked out between them. But when Rorik died, the Dockers and Master Helker were like, nope, the Crows were cutting you off. So Lissa wants him dead. So I added that to the list because she wants him dead. You guys want him dead.
Yeah.
Maha
This is
wants
what 90210 should have been, man.
Exactly.
Oh God.
And that
Cool.
that column there, the Path of Echoes, it says above their names. Maha is Donick, who's the kid who runs the Eels now, the guys that kind of want to work for you. Flint, the Spirit Warden, and Bell. The Path of Echoes are humans that revere ghosts. Basically, they think the path of ghosthood is the best way to be, and that humans ought to experiment with spirits and that kind of thing. So they're all part of that secret society.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up before we have to take a break here, there's kind of two main forces at work, which Salia and Miss Cataby have recognized, and you guys are familiar with as people who live in the setting. The Church of Ecstasy, where Mr. Firm goes. Rune, you went there one time too. Goes into their basement to do weird rituals with hollowed out corpses. The Church of Ecstasy is against the ghost dimension, against spirits. They think spirits are corrupt and bad and wrong and should be destroyed. And they think humans should ascend, that demons are the highest form of life and that humanity should somehow ascend to become demonic. That's the secret to immortality. That's the secret to power. So they revere the sort of demonic angle on things. And then there's the Reconciled and the Circle of Flame and the Path of Echoes, and they're sort of the opposite. They think that demonhood is wrong and evil and vile, and demons should be destroyed, and that the spirit, the human, the ghost world should be the path for humans in the future. So those are the two sort of big forces in the setting that are fighting each other, and you guys are, tangled up in that struggle.
I'm sorry. What was the second one?
The second one, it basically one side thinks that demonkind is the best way to go, and the other side thinks that the spirit world is the best way to go.
And I'm sorry. What are the titles for those two? I forgot.
The Church of Ecstasy. They want demon stuff.
Demons, right?
And the Reconciled and the Path of Echoes.
Okay.
They want the spirit.
Okay,
side.
that's what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
And we don't necessarily we technically don't have anything wrong with the Church of Ecstasy, right? Our only connection is through Careless.
That's up to your characters ultimately, but yeah, I would say in general that's not like super common knowledge in the city, that the demon thing is part of it. But everyone knows when people die, their bodies get disintegrated so the ghosts don't come out. The church kind of runs that operation. And most people in the city don't want ghosts around. They don't like them because they're dangerous. So most people who are natives don't have a problem with that. But given who you guys are, particularly Rune, who seems potentially pro-ghost, I would say, possibly. People have their own personal, opinions about that kind of thing. But yeah, it's essentially up to you. But if you want the default position, it would be church is fine, ghosts are bad. That's all. That's the default state.
Can you explain the mushy thing in the bottom right corner?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Old Cobb.
This is old.
You make him sound like a janitor, like some friendly old man.
Old Cobb, man.
That's where you don't throw your frisbees into his yard.
No, you really don't.
You don't want to throw your frisbees in old Cobb's yard. He'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that comes out of the door. Oh God.
Hello.
Oh.
Yeah. But then he's really nice, like James Earl Jones in The Sandlot.
Yeah, so you guys, you basically recognize everyone on the map. I mean, maybe not so much Satara, but or the Red Hand, but everyone else on here is kind of like a human being. You've heard their names. You're familiar with them. And you guys have heard of Old Cobb also. Old Cobb is a tinkerer in Crowsfoot who has his little push cart, and he was old when you guys were little kids. He was ancient, and somehow he's still around. He's one of those guys that's just old forever. And he would go around with his little tinkerer cart and sharpen people's kitchen knives and fix things and patch up their steam vents and that kind of stuff. But in Crowsfoot recently, over the past few months, there's been these rumors about dark magics happening, corruption, demonic forces. And you guys have seen that when Rune goes to get her tattoos over in Crowsfoot. The spirit wardens have set up checkpoints, and they're investigating something that's gone awry in that district. That's Lissa's district, actually. Lissa, the chief of the Crows, that's her turf. But recently, across, you can almost see it from the library, across the canal up to the south there to Crowsfoot, a building, which was the headquarters of a gang called the Billhooks. It burned down, and it became this mire, this weird black cloud of miasma was seeping up out of the underground. The timbers were covered in blood mollusks that were sort of weeping blood into this oily black water. Everyone was moving away from there. It was corrupt. Something was wrong. Some funny business happened where the spirit warden showed up briefly and then left. And now there's a construction mostly finished. The city council bought the land, and they're building an orphanage on top of this thing, a new orphanage to serve the community, to essentially cover over happened there. But
Pay no mention to the bleeding clams.
Yeah.
It's just
that never,
no big deal. Just put a
But
community center there.
yeah, exactly. It's all good now. It works. But the story on the street is Old Cobb's cart was outside that place, and he's been missing. People said that he went in to like scrounge stuff out of the burned out building, and no one's seen him since. And the rumors in the underworld is that something happened to him, and people are like, "No, I saw Old Cobb. I saw him the other day. He's not missing, but he ain't Old Cobb no more. He got corrupted by the demon. That demon in Crowsfoot, everyone knows, but no one talks about it. You know."
Okay. I was wondering when you were like, he has like a little cart and he walks around and he helps people. And I was like, looking like that, and people are okay with it. Like he just walks around like no big deal.
Do you need me?
He just shambles down Main Street, like waving his flesh at people and like.
Yeah. No, that's as soon as you heard the details of the underworld, Mr. Firm, I think, and Miss Cataby and Salia were able to realize, that sounds like demonic corruption to me. That's a definite way to get in at this Sataran, whatever the Sataran cult is. It's a bit of a mystery, but you know where Old Cobb is supposed to be, and you know that he's connected to that stuff. So that's your lead. Yeah.
Should we break?
Yeah, let's take our first break.
Sure.
Awesome. So I want to mention that so after the break, there's going to be 100-question quiz over everything that we just went over. If you get under 50%, you're not allowed to watch the show anymore. So just warning you, if you need to go back and refresh, do it now during the break. We'll be back. That's hour 1 of season 2 of Blades, week 14. We'll be back right after this.